Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. You're watching Windows 10 Art. I'm Stephen Cooley, and in this episode we're going to do something that I found very engaging and fun and also informational for me as an artist. So how this video came about is I was actually planning on doing a plein air painting, but when the day came that I had planned to go out, it was pouring rain, and it rained all day. Yeah, I don't have the equipment to go out and do a rainy plein air painting. So what I decided to do instead was do an Alla Prima painting in the studio. And I kind of had it worked out in my mind like I was doing a plein air painting, only it was in the studio, and instead of nature all around me, I was looking at reference photos. So not a plein air painting, but a similar concept. And I feel like I really learned a lot, like I said, but it was really enjoyable, and I'm really happy with the painting that I was able to turn out doing this exercise. But yeah, this painting was done with acrylic paint, and all in all I think it took me 45 to 60 minutes to complete. That being said, let's get into it. Okay everybody, we have a 14 by 11 inch canvas here. It has been painted on a little bit already with acrylic paint. This was an old painting that never got painted. Normally I would say don't do that because oftentimes you can get dry glumps of acrylic paint that form impasto marks that can really be distracting and actually wreck your painting that you do over the top of them. But this, just because it feels just like the rough canvas texture, I think this, and I can tell by looking at it, the acrylic paint that was used for this was very thinned out with a lot of water. And I don't feel any bumps anywhere on it. But yeah, just be careful, feel it, check it, make sure that it doesn't have any distracting brush strokes already on it. This one's okay. Let's take a look at our palette. For the colors that we're going to be using today, we have raw umber, burnt umber, raw sienna, orange, yellow ochre, sky blue, and titanium white. And as you can see, I already have a little bit of this raw umber set out down here with this brush. That's going to be what I'm going to use for the sketch. I know it's a limited palette, but I think it's going to work good for the composition I have in mind. So let's put the sketch on. I'm going to put a basic line in right there for it to be a ledge or some sort of cliff where the waterfall is spilling off of. And I think that's a good height for it. In the background, we're going to keep it simple. I think I kind of just want to have maybe some rolling hills in the background. This to be some sky or something. And then maybe just have some basic stuff like that coming down. What if we had main waterfall come down like this? Something like that. Maybe it splashes here. There's some water coming down across like that. Maybe a little bit like that. Some rocks maybe here. Maybe there's a side of a hill coming around like that from up here. We're just going to keep it very basic today. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Okay guys, now that we have our sketch on, I'm going to mix some of that sky blue with the sketch color to make a nice gray. Actually, you know what, I'm going to add a good amount of titanium white into it. And we're going to come up here and just put some of that in, see how that looks. It's a little bit dark, so I'm going to add more titanium white, and I want it to be a little bit more blue, so up the blue. And we'll try this out. Still a little bit too dark, but I'm just going to go ahead and put some of that on there, just like that. Remember, we're just doing the block in at this point, so we want to move quick, get our main colors and shapes in there. Taking some pure titanium white, and I'm just gonna kind of blend that in there while it's still wet. With acrylic paint, you just have to move a little bit more quick because it dries quicker. Okay, that's pretty good. Now we've been using these two colors and titanium white. Now I'm going to add a little bit of yellow ochre into it, and should give us a nice gray-green color. I'm going to put this up here I want to have some background hills fading away into the background there. Remember, I'm going quick. I'm treating this like a plein air painting. I'm just going to do it Alla Prima. Go as quick as I can. I think I need a darker gray on the blue side back up in this area. So I'm going to mix a lot of that raw umber in with that sky blue. Just make some patterns of rock back here. Very simple. Don't want to get bogged down in details right now. Now I'm going to take a little bit of this orange. Oops, kind of went up in this area. I'm going to take some of this orange here and put that on. A little bit messy. Oops. Yeah, this is why I like to wear gloves with oil paint. Acrylic is easy to clean off, but oil paint is a little bit tougher to clean off your skin. So that's why I like to wear gloves when I'm painting with oils. Now I'm going to grab some of this blue, some of this orange, and some of this raw umber. Mix that up. Add a little bit of this yellow into it. Some more blue. Get a nice dark color here. Some more yellow. Careful not to mix in that white. We got some white there. Let's try this. All right. It's not quite dark enough, honestly. Okay, so basically what I'm doing right now is I'm blocking in my darks, which are going to be mainly in the shadows in this area, but that's not quite dark enough. Nope, it's not dark enough. So I am going to add Payne's gray to the palette. Originally, I wasn't going to use it, but if you want a list of all the colors that I used in this painting, see the description box. The list of my palette colors will be in there. So I'm going to add Payne's gray to my acrylic colors. Oh yeah, that's nice and dark. Let's take that up. Okay, I'm going to need to put some more yellow ochre onto my palette, and I'm going to create a green by mixing it with the sky blue. We're going to put some lighter green over here for that hillside and bring it down like this, and put some over here. I want to make sure when I'm painting this to put the most yellow ochre into the foreground here, because that yellow is really going to make things come forward. So if I want to create a nice sense of depth in this overcast lighting, I want to make this mossy foreground more vibrant with more of that yellow, and that will make it look closer. And the same is true if you want to make things look further away with blue. If we add more blue, it's going to push everything kind of further back. That's why I used more blue for the sky and then the background. And then I'm kind of phasing out that blue as I get closer to this waterfall here. All right, that's looking pretty good. Now I'm going to put in the water. I'm going to take a little bit of this titanium white, and I'm going to take it and just kind of lightly put it up in there for now. Not do too much with it right now. Keep it light in the background. Something like that. And then I'm going to bring it forward. I'm going to start out with a darker blue for this because I want it to be darker, and then I want to add lighter values on top of it as I put more details. So we're going to start with more of the darker shadowed watercolor and put it in first. Very simply, just like that. Now, just because you have blue on your palette doesn't mean you need to use blue for the water. As you probably know, water isn't always blue. So rely on your reference photos for the colors. I think there's actually going to be more blue down here. So I can add a little bit more of that sky blue into the spray where it's hitting down here. And then I'm just going to bring it forward, add a little bit more brown in there. The water is going to be darker in this area. Okay, that's the basic idea. So our block-in is more or less done. It's very simple, very loose, but I have an image in my head now to look at and to build on. That is what we want for the block-in. Now, I'm going to go ahead and start with what's furthest away again, but this time as I paint over the whole thing again, from furthest to closest, I'm going to add more detail and render the image a little bit more. Okay, what do I want to do here for the sky? I think I'm going to lighten it up a little bit more. So I'm going to take some more titanium white here, but I'm going to be more careful and more refined with my brush strokes. Start to add a little bit more details into this background hill area. Okay, so you can see I'm starting to build a little bit more detail into it. However, I'm still using the same large brush that I started out with. I'm just being a little bit more choosy where I put my strokes. Just wanted to show you guys really quick how much paint I have glumped on this big brush. Just to show you how loose we're painting this. Okay everybody, this is the modeling stage complete, and I've probably only spent 40 minutes on this entire painting. So yeah, it's got a lot of acrylic paint on it that's still wet. Because I'm using so much paint, it is having trouble drying quick, but that's okay because this is an Alla Prima painting. That doesn't mean that when this dries completely you can't come back in, let's say, a week and finish it off with more details. But I just really want to show you guys how fun it is to do this exercise in your studio. Boy, it's really pouring rain out right now. It would not have worked to do a plein air painting today, and we would have missed out on this nice waterfall. But yeah, Alla Prima painting, everything is really loose. Keep that in mind when you're doing the details. You don't need to get super detailed. We want the details to be loose details as well. So keep your style consistent through every step of the painting. The block in is done. We worked from background to foreground, and then we went over it again from background to foreground, adding in more shadows, more marks, more rendering. All of it has been painted so far with this one brush. Now what I'm going to do is put in those final detail touches, work on the waterfall a little bit more, and add in the highlights, and hopefully this painting will be finished. And on top of everything that we're doing here, I think one of the most important things that we're doing is, number one, creating a nice loose painting. Number two, we're learning a lot. This is all information that I can take into my more detailed paintings that I'll do even with oil paint later on. Okay everybody, we are ready to finish this Alla Prima painting up, and to do that I'm going to switch from this brush to this brush. This is a synthetic bristle round brush. It's a little bit smaller than this synthetic bristle flat brush. So yeah, let's finish up this painting. I am going to come up in here with some titanium white, and I'm just going to place some marks up in this area here. Now, I don't want to use pure white yet. I'm going to layer my highlights a little bit. So I'm going to take a little bit of a lighter gray, and I'm going to start to layer these highlights on the waterfall. Now, when you're doing waterfall highlights, take your brush and do a little bit of a squiggly marks going down. That'll really give it a nice falling water effect. Don't just do straight lines. Make it a little bit more interesting than that. Okay, now quick note for you guys. Right down here, I want there to be a distinction between this crashing white water and the darker flowing transparent water. That's right here. You see I have a distinction here. I have a little bit of a line going across. This is the water that's hitting, and then right below it we have the darker see-through, water that's flowing. So that's why there is light and then dark right there, because this is all crashing down and hitting into this area and then kind of kicking up into spray. I'm gonna bring in some mist up in there like that, I think. Okay, I'm gonna start to add a little bit more titanium white into it. Now don't go overboard with the squiggles, but just pretend that the water is actually flowing. Where would it go? How would it move? I am going to come up here and add in some lighter green up across this lip of the cliff here, but I'm going to desaturate the green by adding a little bit of titanium white into it to lift the value as well. And then it creates a nice little color like that, because I want to reserve that really bright, vibrant yellow-green member for the foreground. Alright, the painting is finished, save for one last thing, and that is a final touch of titanium white to the waterfall. The waterfall is the focal point, so that's what we're going to do to finish it up. And I think we'll have a nice little Alla Prima painting. That's too much. We'll take just a little bit. In fact, I might just tone it down a little bit by mixing it in over here with some more of that gray blue that we had. Let's try that. Have that mist from the waterfall kind of curling up the side of this cliff here, I think. So as you can see, this is the area that I was mixing my paint. There's not a lot of paint on here or a lot of area used up. That's because this painting went very quick. So I just wanted to show you guys this because it's proof that this painting went very quick. It's all Alla Prima. You don't have to get super fancy and be sitting here for a long time to turn out a nice painting. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one. Until then, God bless you guys. We'll see you later.